Why, hello there. There we go. It is 7:32 p.m. on the 6th of March, 2021. And this is Cast Talks number 20. Number 20. My gosh. I feel like I say this every time we do these, but it's incredible to me. I'm, as always, your host, Cass. And we're going to be doing some good news. And we're going to be doing some animal videos. But we're going to let people come on in for a few minutes before we get started. So for our first piece of good news, this one comes to us from last month. Nell ISO, how you doing? Glad you could make it. I don't think I've seen you in here before, but I'm glad I'm seeing you now. I hope that you can relax a little bit while you're here. New plant-based plastic can be broken down and recycled with near-perfect efficiency by Andy Corbley. Hoping to solve the plastic pollution problem with recycling technology being too often inefficient, there seems to be a new biodegradable, bio-based substitute being invented every month. In 2020 alone, GNN reported on plastic item bags made from minerals. Good night from the United States to you in Spain. Sleep tight. Made from minerals that dissolve in boiling water, biodegradable flip-flops made from algae, additives that turn regular plastics into harmless biowax in nature in less than a year. Newly discovered bacterial enzymes that break down plastic like dead leaves, and thermoplastic recycling, which combines normal, mechanically chopped up polymer with household waste to imprison the carbon it would otherwise produce. Now, a recent publish in Nature shows us that hard plastic polymer can be manufactured with breakpoints in the molecular carbon chains, which allow them to be chemically recycled with 10 times as much efficiency. The polymers presented in the study could be manufactured with plant oils instead of fossil fuels. And when heated to 248 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 120 Celsius, in either ethanol or methanol, they break down from their complex polymers at a salvage rate of 96%. While most people probably think recycling is just recycling, 96% is a revolutionary improvement to current methods. Hey Playful, how's it going? Glad to see you in the chat. We just had a friendly person from Spain pop in to say goodnight. Glad to hear you're doing well. We're almost done with our first news story of the evening. And after that, I will greet you properly. I'm glad you got to see it. It was very nice. "96% is a revolutionary improvement to current methods. As opposed to mechanical recycling, melting plastics isn't cost or energy effective for normal polymers like polyethylene or polyester. The temperature required to pull apart the durable hydrocarbon chains that make plastic so wondrously useful and versatile are very high, 600 degrees Celsius. And even after the molecules return to single units, a scant 10% of the resulting material is actually usable. With polyethylene being one of the cheapest building blocks of chemistry, the study authors admitted in an interview with the Academic Times that it would be difficult to compete in the current market without a new regulatory framework, and are therefore looking to other avenues like injection molding and 3D printing, which their new hydrocarbon is also perfect for. The introduced breakpoints in the carbon chains could also create a far more biodegradable plastic, which is something the German chemists who developed them are committed to exploring further. Well, that was lovely. How are you tonight, Playful? What's going on with you? I'd like to hear about your day if you don't mind sharing. And this is a lovely little background as well, actually. I'm glad I found this one. Been an alright day and a week. Well, I certainly hope that you'll be able to enjoy tonight as a nice close to your week. Ginny, I'm so glad to see you in chat. How are you doing? I hope Reba and Gilly are both doing well too. I'm really glad to hear that. I was thinking about them earlier after our discussion. I think I will also be a proud pet owner, animal lover, whatever you want to call it, in the future. And that gives me hope that I'll get there someday soon, hearing about them. What was something special about your week, Playful, if you don't mind me asking? Something, memorable, maybe your favorite thing. I'd like to hear about that. I think mine's going to end up being greasing up this squeaky old chair of mine. I think I'll end up doing that sometime on Sunday. Tomorrow, I mean. Nothing memorable, really, just another week. Well, I'm very sorry that nothing sticks out to you. If you think of something, go ahead and say, I'll be paying attention. As for you, Jenny, I welcome you to our stream. As always, it's great to have you. I hope your neck is doing alright too. And hopefully Ella will be here real soon as well, and then we'll have the three of my, I guess you could say, returners. I'm not trying to put it. It's been doing some better. Well, I'm glad to hear that. The three favorites will be here, the Holy Trinity, if you will. I am ever so grateful to have the three of you in this chat as well. You make it much more entertaining and doable for me, just having people to talk with. Otherwise, it'd be pretty... it wouldn't be bad, but I would be doing those random word association, which I don't mind so much, but this is certainly more interesting to me than that. So, we are on episode 20. Episode 20 is going to be a little more special than the other one so far. It's going to be a bit of a good news extravaganza, as well as it's going to be a bit of a look back on the other 19 episodes we've done so far. And also, we're going to be doing, just in 2 weeks, I believe. In 2 weeks, it should just be 2 weeks. Yes, in 2 weeks, we will be doing episode 22, which is very strange, actually, because my birthday is on the 22nd of March, meaning we're doing episode 22 2 days before the 22nd. A birthday stream, if you will. I don't know how it lined up this way, but it's very, very convenient, you might say. Almost serendipitous. But yeah, we're doing another good news right now. Another one from Judy Cole, February the 25th. Cuddling in freezing temperatures, newborn calf and collie become adorable best friends. No matter how you measure it, minus 50 degrees Celsius or minus 58 degrees Fahrenheit, it's a temperature frigid enough to give someone frostbite just thinking about it. While it wasn't a fit night for man nor beast, that's what the thermometer read on Saskatchewan farm, when a calf that couldn't wait till the weather warmed up recently decided to make its natal debut. Bonnie Petoroka had gone out to check up on her pregnant heifer, ironically named Summer, only to find the cow's newborn progeny had arrived ahead of schedule and was already in the danger of the elements. It just wasn't warm enough, Petoroka told CBC News. A baby is wet when it's born, and she was already getting cold, and her ears were starting to freeze. So I took her to the heated shop, and that's where she stayed. Along with the heater, the as-yet-to-be-named girl calf has been getting an extremely warm reception from Petoroka's collie, Mickey. In fact, when the baby isn't in the barn with her mom, the pair are pretty much inseparable. Baby cows, like baby humans, spend a lot of time sleeping. She'll lay down on the rug and he'll come next to her and lay down beside her. They usually just sleep together, Petoroka told CBC. If the bond will continue as the calf grows older is anyone's guess. But since it's the first time Mickey has made such friendly overtures to his farm mates, thank you, What Is Life, for following. Botoroga thinks the relationship might just turn out to be a long-lasting one. I haven't heard that notification in so long. I was like, well, what is that? I'm very glad to hear it, though. For now, the adorable pair seem over the moon, just sharing each other's company. If you'd like to see more photos of them, just head to Bonnie's Instagram. Well, I do have a bit of a soft spot for both cows and dogs, so this is a particularly good news story for me. Well, welcome on in, what is, or whatever you'd like to be called, that is. You're welcome here, and if you're anything like our friend who just showed up, you can use Cast Talks for whatever you'd like, for companionship, or even if you'd like to fall asleep. I've heard it does wonders for both of those things. So, we're on to our next good news story. And then after that, we'll do our first animal video of the day. Who doesn't love dogs? I love them myself. Though sometimes they just don't like me. Well, I honestly understand how you feel on both of those accounts. When I'm out for a walk, several times through the week I do this, and even longer these days because of the nice weather, I oftentimes walk by several houses that the animals just bark at me no matter how many times I go by, or what I wear, or how I walk. Your issue is stupid allergies. Luckily, I don't understand that completely, but I am sympathetic regardless. It would be very unfortunate for someone who likes dogs to have allergies to them, and I'm sorry that you find yourself in that position, because it sounds unfavorable. Are there any dogs that you aren't allergic to specifically? Or do you know? Long-haired. You need to get yourself like some boxers or a lovely bulldog. Bulldogs are fantastic, though they are somewhat useless, I find. They are adorable in their uselessness. They make great companions. Or a lab, yes, that works too. Bulldogs are very compassionate and very loyal. Like most dogs, but they get huge, don't they? Labs get huge. I've never really known for sure what kind of dog I'd like to get. I've even thought about the kind of dog I would get for a child, right? Like if I had a daughter, what kind of dog would I get her? Or would I get a cat? I don't know. I think that I would be happy just giving a child any kind of animal to be around. One that they like and that likes them back, of course. But what exactly, I don't know if I could say completely. But yeah, I'm totally in favor of both kinds of hairy dogs, though I'm sorry you can't enjoy the long-haired ones up close as much. I think about cats being really long-haired too, actually. I think about big floofy ones. I think that all that hair would almost be too much for me, but it is still very cute regardless. Well, I was hoping to get Ella in here before we started our cat videos, but it does seem like a good time to try them. Though they're not all strictly cat videos this time, I'll be honest with you. I think only one of them is, and not even the first one. But still, I will show them to you more than happily. Lovely. Well, it's a breath of fresh air to me. I think that animals especially have a special relationship with each other when they become inseparable or bonded or paired. You know, whatever the term you'd like to use is when they are together and they have found their family. You can find like a one true pair with them. A real connection can be made, like a true, strong connection. Because it's hard to break a connection between a person and an animal, even more so between two animals who love each other. And I always feel a little bit more proud of animality and humanity, because you can see both in some pairs, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But we are on to our next good news story. I think Ella will probably still show up. She usually shows up after about a half hour. I'm gonna hold out hope. From Good News Network. This man makes amazing origami art, folding single sheets of paper for months at a time. My gosh. Meet the Finnish origami artist who turns brilliant ideas into reality simply by folding paper. 23-year-old Juho Konkola began folding origami models when he was just 8 years old. More than a decade of practice has made him super skilled in his chosen endeavor. Making paper characters inspired from history, folk tales, books, movies, mythologies, and more. Every piece of art Konkola makes is folded from a single square sheet of paper, and there's never any cutting involved. Origami is not always an easy pursuit for this Lapland University art graduate, with the creation of just one character often taking many months of work, and sometimes thousands of folds. Luckily, Konkola finds the creative process therapeutic. As for the result of his designs, they're stunning. Follow the artists on Instagram. I'll show you guys some of these actually, they're very good. There's the samurai. And the Lord of the Dragon. And the dance pair, which is particularly difficult looking. There's the Lohi. And the Spear Warrior. And Hearn the Hunter. And the Assassin. The Finnish Maiden. And the Angelic Knight. Pretty great, I think. Yeah, they're very, very good. It's actually pretty amazing if you ask me. I mean, I made a very asymmetrical butterfly once. Though it was much more primitive than his. He actually makes money doing that by selling them, I think. Super crazy, but you know, he's a master crafter of origami. I mean, I hope that I can be that good at something in my life is really all I can say. And here's our next one. By Andy Corbley. New Zealand designer makes ingenious solar-powered skylight that desalinates water for drinking. People living in the shanty towns of Chile's coastline have all the water they could ever need, but they can't drink it because it's too salty. There's also abundant solar energy here, but nothing to harness it. Now, a finalist in the 2021 Lexus Design Award, Henry Gologa, has created something that takes advantage of both these abundant resources. A solar-powered lighting fixture that desalinates water. Clean water is scarce for the 110,000 families in the area, and power comes through unreliable electric lines. Windows are often boarded up to increase privacy and security, which removes almost all the natural light. I wanted to achieve a design which was sustainable, passive, and created a striking feature inside the dark settlement home, writes Gogla. A New Zealander who graduated from the Royal Danish Academy with a master's degree, specializing in architecture for extreme conditions. In my development process, it became apparent that I could address the lack of indoor lighting and water access by creating a hybrid skylight and solar desalination device. Gogla's device can purify 440 milliliters of water a day, with leftover brine being sifted into batteries made of zinc and copper, where they power an LED strip for use during the night. During the day, the light is powered by a small solar panel, and the whole thing is cheap to manufacture. Not only focused on function, the solar desalination skylight is modeled in such a way as to utilize the chemical process of evaporation and condensation to create soothing lighting patterns on the walls and floor as the photons move through water droplets, vapor, and undulations in the stylized shade. Employment now as an architect in GXN, Goklau doesn't know if he'll win the Lexus Prize as one of the 6 finalists, but his invention, with the help of local charities, is already being installed among homes in formal and in the Chilean town of Antofagasta. The good news really is fantastic today. I'm really glad that we're having a lovely time like this, hanging out here together. I was actually looking forward specifically to today's episode. Not just to be able to talk with Chad and to hang out with my friends, but also to thank all of you guys yet again for being so supportive of me, especially now when I am not as capable of using my computer keys and of clicking as I was prior, maybe near the beginning of Cast Talks. And I am taking some time. No way were you was missing the big 20 Cast Talks. Well, thank you. I'm glad to hear it. It is sort of a problem I'm facing, is using my hands more than I should be, but it's an old habit that's hard to break, I have to admit. But it all came together for this episode. And I'm so glad that you guys are here and enjoying it with me. It wouldn't be the same without you. And one of these days, I don't know what day it will be or how soon it will be, but I'll have a much wider usage of my hands. At least you're just using them to search. You're actually talking. You're actually talking to us. Other than that, oh, it's true. I use them just a very small amount, and even that's too much. And it's true. I am using them for something good, because this is my probably my favorite thing that I do for other people. Yeah, I know it. It's a darn shame, but one day it'll be back to something that I can actually use more than a little bit every day. I hope it's soon, but I exercise every morning and I take Epsom salt baths and cool them with ice packs. So I'm going for the whole 9 yards. Though it is a little bit frustrating not being able to use them, I have to admit. I'm really glad to just have this time with you guys where I can relax and not have to worry about that for a short period of time. And I may end up taking another bath after this just to relax them a bit. But you know, it's a tough thing. Disabilities and differently abled people work through a lot of problems. And this will just be a time of working through my problems in whatever way that I can. And it'll take some time. It really will. But luckily, I'm still pretty young. I've got plenty of time left. In the second quarter of the episode 20, I'm thinking about the future, thinking about what it could bring to us, the kind of people we could reach and help, the kind of conversations we could start, the kind of things we could enjoy together, thinking about what it means to really stream like this, because I don't want to say we're the only stream like this, because we're not. There are other just chatting streams, but there is something special about this one, where it's kind of just a small, sort of intimate thing. I like to think of it like this. It's like if you could imagine that we're just kind of sitting next to each other on the couch, or I'm in a chair beside your chair, and we're just talking for a little bit, just for a few hours. I feel like that's the environment that I would be very comfortable placing this in. As the kind of setting I could get down with. And though I still need much, much more time to heal, I think that each one of these I find to be dramatically healing to my spirit and to the way I feel about all of us here hanging out together, having a good time. It makes me look forward to the future. And the way that I am right now, there's a reason for it. It didn't just come out of nowhere or left field. I made it happen, and I have to take the time to make it right. And that's something that I'll do. Even if it takes me, I don't know how long, but quite some time is what I'll say here. So I'll have to take that time and work through it. And hopefully you folks that are enjoying yourselves now, hanging around, hopefully you'll be here with me through all of that. And if you decide to stick around for a long time, then you might see me climb all kinds of heights, and you'll be there with me. I've always found that being at the beginning of something and then seeing it climb to its heights, I find that that's very rewarding. For me, let's say watching a YouTube video of some kind, or a piece of content where it naturally changes in that positive way. It's like a child almost, I guess you could say. And if Cass Talks is my brainchild, then I'm a proud brain father. Though it's a very strange sentence, I have to admit. Well, I hope whatever Elle is doing, I hope that she's having a nice time. her positivity is missed by me in this moment. And this chair could use a good greasing. Here we are, moving on to our next video. Sorry about that. Just like a split second there of the full volume. I didn't like that. I'll have to edit that out. What did I say last time? My brainchild? I repeat myself quite often. I hope it's not too frustrating for anyone listening. Fixing that shit. I did say that last time, it's true. I haven't got around to it yet. What can I say? Oh my gosh. Oh, I need to, Oh, it's doing just fine, Jenny. It's not exploding like it usually is. I like this idea of a animal unboxing video. A dog unboxing video. I've never seen that before, to be honest with you. A dog obsessed with bowls gets his dream come true. Yeah, I'm definitely cutting out that little noise out of that YouTube video. It said just before 45 minutes. Okay, cool. I can remember that. Oh my gosh. I wonder why he likes bulls so much. Oh, he looks very happy though. Aw. What a cutie pie. He's not sure what to do with all those bowls. Oh, bless him. He did not know what to do at first. He was so overwhelmed there for a moment. It's true. It's too much for him, having all these bowls. Aw, gosh, he really is so happy and content with those bowls. Wow. I've never seen an animal that loves bowls so much. It's very enthusiastic, and I appreciate that enthusiasm. And let's look at another one. The beginnings of these are always a little sad, seeing where they come from. But then you always feel better after they've healed up and gotten nice and fed. That's a tiny animal. Very, very tiny. She needs some food. she looks better already being cared for in that little pajama, though. Aw. Oh, you know what I did? I just removed our video. It's true. It's very sad sometimes seeing them in such a state. Oh my gosh. She's got a whole collection. Once again, a collecting animal trying to get more and more for their collection. I love how happy she looks now. I wonder why she decided to start collecting these. I have one just like that, actually. A monkey pillow. Aw. Sock monkey, that's it. I forgot what they were called. Aw, what a cutie. Aw, she does look very happy now. She's getting all that she could ask for. She looks so much better. Just hopping around, grabbing her toys. Happy dogs really are something special, aren't they? Yeah, it's very true. She has a lot of pajamas, wow. Alright, folks, we are just at the halfway point. So go ahead and, after you've enjoyed watching the dog for a little while, oh, that's so cute. After you've finished watching the dog for a little while longer, go ahead and make yourself a drink. Go and stretch your legs. Go relax for a second outside of your desk and chair. And go have yourself a little break. So you can come on back and sit on down whenever you'd like to. Thank you so much for coming, Jenny. Glad you could make it, and glad we could have you. Sleep tight, okay? Glad you could make it. Thank you very much, Jenny. Sleep tight. I'll see you soon. That is just the best. Aww. That's a fantastic transformation. What, the cake? I know what you mean. I thought the same thing. There's like a second where my brain was like, is that a real cake? How do they do that? How do they make the cake look like that? And then I was like, oh, it's just a toy. Don't worry. Don't think about it too hard. Don't poke yourself into that thought too much. Well, I'll be right back. See you in a few minutes. And we're back. Let's see. What were we doing? Thank you very much for the welcome back. I appreciate it. We are talking about more good news. More and more good news. Okay, so from Andy Cordley, once again, from last month. 7 years ahead of schedule, Maersk will deploy world's first carbon-neutral shipping liner in 2023. That's pretty early, if you ask me. The world's largest shipping container carrier has announced that in just 2 years' time, it will be putting a little more green into the deep blue sea. Nice. Maersk is deploying for their first carbon-neutral shipping liner that incorporates e-methanol or biomethanol as fuel in 2023. The green liner is to join the fleet a full 7 years ahead of the Danish company's original date, as they hope to rapidly shape the future of marine container shipping into one that's carbon neutral. According to a press release, the developments of new technology have allowed them to deploy an ethanol-powered liner long before they thought possible, thereby replacing the original target of 2030 with a goal for a 60% reduction in shipping CO2. Maersk's ambition is to lead the way in decarbonizing global logistics, says Soren Skue, CEO at Maersk, in the press release. Our customers expect us to help them decarbonize their global supply chains, and we are embracing the challenge, working on solving the practical, technical, and safety challenges inherent in the carbon-neutral fuels we need in the future. The International Maritime Organization, a UN body advising an international maritime law and practices, has a greenhouse gas reduction strategy that aims to reduce levels of harmful global shipping emissions from benchmark 2008 levels by 40% by 2030 and by 70% by 2050. To succeed in bringing shipping emissions down, which in 2014 sat at 961 million tons of CO2 and CO2 equivalents, about 3% of the world's inventory, the IMO will need the help of industry leaders like Maersk in pushing other container shipping guilds into the picture more quickly. However, despite Maersk getting out in front of the issue, trends are moving in the right direction, and as increases in technology better the performance of vessels and fuels. For example, according to Clean Cargo, the leading buyer-supplier forum for sustainability in the cargo shipping industry, the number of shipping vessels, their size, and their cargo has increased 157% since 2010. But 2018 to 2019 saw an 8.1% reduction in CO2 emissions and a 10.2% reduction in sulfur dioxide. Furthermore, emissions on key shipping routes from Asia to India and from Asia to the Mediterranean have fallen 12%. This demonstrable increase in the existing shipping technology will likely lead to other companies starting their carbon reduction missions ahead of schedule, as such goals become cheaper to employ. It's a good one. Well, I wanted to say, Playful, I am very grateful for your presence in today's stream. I'm glad to have you. At the halfway point, usually we find ourselves looking around and seeing what today's vibe has been so far. And for episode 20, the 5th of the way to 100, I feel like we've had a very chill vibe, even by Cast Talk standards. You're glad to be here. You've got nothing else to do lately, to be honest. Well, I'll be honest. I'm glad that you're hanging out. And I'm glad that you're taking it easy here. It's a nice place to be. I know that we only recently became acquainted through Rissy and her game nights, but I am rather glad to have so much company here, because some nights are slower than others, and some nights are much faster than others too. But I'm glad to have somebody here, and I'm glad that somebody is you. Yeah, I couldn't make it because of my hands, unfortunately. I would have liked to have been there, though. If I had my druthers, I'd be at every single one of the SOS events. Every single one of them. Ah. Good to hear. And we're moving on to our next good news story. By Andy Corbley. Spanish city squeezing green electricity from leftover oranges. Seville, home to palaces, oranges, and now a brilliant civic recycling innovative that will see millions of tons of fruit being turned into electricity. When the spring air lies thick with the smell of orange blossoms, and the city is at its most beautiful, most non-residents will be unaware that many of the 5.7 million kilograms of oranges from the city's 50,000 bitter orange trees will end up squished and decaying on the city sidewalks. Flies swarm around these piles of sticky, fermenting oranges that get mushed in between flagstones by passing cars, a real headache for the city's sanitation department. Amesesa, the company that controls a large market share of Seville's water and sewage treatment. Yeah, I know, it's pretty gross. It's pretty gross. Sewage treatment needs has decided to take all that OJ and turn it into a different sort of juice. MSSI is promoting a pilot project at the Kopero wastewater treatment plant for the second consecutive year to generate clean energy thanks to the juice of bitter oranges from the streets of the city, reads a press release from the company website. The juice of the bitter oranges is rich in fructose, consisting of very short carbon chains. This causes the fermentation process to run hot, enough to power 5 homes for a day on just 1 ton of oranges. Wow, I had no idea that oranges were so strong. The rest of the orange that's left over is turned into compost to regenerate the soil in local fields. Yeah, it's crazy. The team behind the project, according to the report in The Guardian, believe that if all the city's oranges that weren't exported to Britain were there used to make marmalade, were instead sent into the methane electric plants, 73,000 of Seville's homes would receive green, or perhaps orange, power for the duration of the harvest season. It's got to be the acid in them lately. You are probably very correct. The acidic nature of bitter oranges. They do grow quite bitter. That bitterness got to be put to use somewhere. If it's not going to be in people's taste buds, it's got to definitely not be smushed into the flagstone if we can help it. Flagstone is a lovely word, I've always thought. Flagstone. I like saying it. I've always thought that oranges were kind of tough to eat. In fact, I might have actually developed an allergy to oranges just recently. One didn't agree with me at all. I need to test that again someday, but not today. I'm more of a lime and lemon kind of guy. Citrus. It's true, they can be easy to eat, but I've always found them a little bit hard to enjoy because of how acidic they are. Though some of them are rather sweet. I do find them difficult, at least for me. I've had a couple of good oranges in my time, though, I'll admit. I don't believe I could eat them quite as much anymore, though. It could be a bit too much for me, I have to admit. Sometimes I look at everything around me, all the beautiful things that exist in our world and all the crazy innovations that are happening that I see every week from this show. I think that I don't know how this world could get much cooler. And then we have a lovely day like today where I see so much hope and joy and prosperity. And I get proven wrong. I get shown just how I could get better. It certainly is something, isn't it? I hope that in my time, whatever length of time that happens to be, but I hope in my time, I get to see. It's true, it can be really difficult to hang on and to see things and to find the prosperity among the disparity. I've always found that this little time, though, with me and the internet, I guess you could say, it's a special kind of thing. It's distilled and alchemically refined into a kind of essence. And it's purely wholesome, what we do here. And I think that we've cultivated such a lovely and caring environment. We've done it together. We've done it for everyone who's come in and chatted, whether it be Ella or Ginny. Whether it be you, Playful. Whether it be any of our other guests that have come into chat and have decided to spend some quality time here with us. We've built that together. And we're building it now. And every time that we do this, every week, every stream, every minute, every second, is building brick after brick on top of one another, stone after stone in the path. All working together and combining and reforming. And every time it becomes a little bit more than it was before. That's the way I see it. I see it as a tree, a great oak, with green apples that are still barely even dots on the leaves. Still barely even apples at all. But one day, there'll be so much fruit that it'll be easy to pluck them when only just standing next to it. And I do look forward to that day when we can be overflowing with content and community and kindness and warmth. It may be wishful thinking on my part, but my wish is only that we can help spread this wholesomeness to others. Like a never-expanding hug. Reaching more and more people. I do think that the place that you show yourself is very important. And I do like what we have here so far. I'm glad you could see it. I'm glad you got to hear the follower noise too. That's that's one of my favorite noises. That one and the oh, I won't speak about the other one actually, not until we hear it. I'm looking forward to it though. One day I'll hear that noise play. I know it's mysterious. I'm so sorry for being so mysterious, but you know, every streamer's gonna have their secrets. I've got mine. But it won't be a secret forever. One day, and hopefully you'll get to hear it soon. One day we'll be playing that sound. It'll be playing loud and proud. In fact, it'll be playing so much that people will tell me to turn it off because it's playing too often. Well, hopefully it isn't quite powerful enough, in my opinion. I don't just hope it'll happen. I know it'll happen. It'll just take some time. Though I do hope it happens sooner rather than later, if nothing else. You know, I have thought about the kind of drink that should best be enjoyed with a cast talks. And like everything else, things have always taken time. It's very true. The best food is created very, very slowly. Have you ever heard of soy sauce? It gets cooked in these giant underground drums. About the size of maybe 20 people squished together. The drums get filled with the soy sauce all the way to the top. And the soy sauce sits there in the drums. And the bacteria inside of the drums from all those other soy sauces that have been there, it strengthens, empowers, and ages the soy sauce more and more. And they say that soy sauce can take centuries to truly get its flavor, though I don't think Cast Talk will be going for more than a century, but hey, I mean, if we can go to episode 1 million, then sure, I guess. It's a bit of a silly thought, but if in 100 years I'm still doing this, then well, prepare for episode 500,000. Well, you know, thank you, Playful. I'm doing it as long as I'm enjoying it, and I haven't not enjoyed it at all so far. There are moments when my butt gets a little tired, but, you know, my back gets a little sore too, but it's more from the energy of being active and being alert and working, I guess you could say, working and relaxing at the same time. It's a little bit of a mix of things. It really is. But it's not a bad mix, I'll say that much. It keeps me on my toes. It's interesting, if nothing else. But it does seem like I need to take some time this week especially to focus on healing my nerves, you know, healing my nerves. I'm not sure what the best way to heal your nerves is, if it's through action or inaction, but it does seem that I still require more attention before my body is willing to be back into things more seriously, or really at all for that matter. So we'll see what happens this week, but I plan on doing absolutely nothing except for physical therapy and watching YouTube. So we'll see how far that gets me, huh? I'm looking forward to next Saturday already, though. But let's get back into our good news. By Andy Corbley. NASA technology to map the stars could help now save the world's largest fish. High above our planet, the Hubble Space Telescope has special software for parsing out the details of each individual star it surveys. Now, this technology is being turned back towards Earth, to help an animal that, while not as big as a star, is still quite a hefty unit. Despite being the largest fish in the ocean, whale sharks are one of the least understood of their kind. Watching YouTube is easy. Just get it on your cell and watch it from your bed. Though hard when you're doing cast talks. I forgot that part. No, it's really alright. I'm really not in my bed as often as I used to be, though. Though I appreciate the thought for sure. I'm really active and I really go on walks often, and I exercise and stretch my hands often, and I keep myself active whenever I can. No. Oh, I see what you mean. My back is just fine, though, thank you. The only soreness my back gets is from being a bit more... What do you call that? It is sore, mind you, it is sore, but it's only like a moderate weak soreness, right? Where it's like oh, I'm at attention, I'm focusing, I'm in the zone kind of soreness, if that makes sense. It's a real, like, mellow soreness. I don't even know how to describe it properly. But I'm used to it. I am very thankful for your advice, though. Marine biologists don't have good data on their migration patterns, their global hotspots, breeding sites, or if they follow a seasonal food source. It is principally this lack of knowledge that has prevented scientists from being able to develop conservation strategies to protect the animal from sliding further and further towards extinction. Now, a new citizen science project utilizes the Hubble's growth algorithm. No, it's not like it's a screaming at you to stop pushing yourself kind of way. Not at all. Not at all. It's one of those, like, very soft, very, like, aware of your back being used kind of feelings. It's really not a problem at all. But I notice it because I am in work mode, I guess you could say. And it will probably be another 20 cast talks before I can feel more and more like I'm not just streaming and like I'm actually relaxing, because it is so strange the way that I work. I'll go into it for you if you don't mind listening to it. I am a bizarre and sometimes paradoxic creature. I find that I have the hardest time relaxing when I'm helping other people relax. But while that is true and somewhat sad, it is cathartic to me to help others relax. It is a pathos that I find. And whenever someone venerates me by suggesting the quality of my voice is high or that they're falling asleep to it, I feel happy. I feel rewarded and maybe even jubilant. I enjoy it so much that it keeps me going. It keeps me coming back for more and more and more. And despite all of my strange tendencies to not relax, to not be calm and collected, I sound so calm. To the average person, I sound very calm, very soothed, very sedate. But if only I could show you guys how strange it is from that truth. That truth feels like it's been whispered by somebody from a different accent, from a different language. And it's so bizarre that I feel this way, but it's also so helpful to everyone around me. Because I can say with 100% certainty that I do this as an act of kindness and love and sincerity and ingenuity to the internet. To make people relax, to make them feel better and sleep. That is the greatest gift I could give to anybody listening, anybody enjoying. And I'll keep giving it as long as I can. But we can only talk about me for so long before I'm going to get a little embarrassed. So let's talk more about the fish. Now, a new citizen science project utilizes the Hubble's Groth algorithm, normally used for identifying individual stars in the universe, to map photographed whale sharks' spotted patterns of which no two are alike, and therefore effectively act like a fingerprint. The algorithm forms the brain of a new photographic database of whale sharks, the largest ever assembled. That marine biologist Brad Norman of Western Australia's Murdoch University used to create the Wild Book for Whale Sharks, a library of individually identified sharks that anybody, hobbyist scuba diver, amateur scientist, or a professional biologist can contribute to. At the start, it was just me taking photos of whale sharks at Ningaloo. But we needed more than one lonely researcher to collect enough data over an extended period, Dr. Norman said in a statement. And because tourists were constantly swimming with whale sharks, too, why not enlist their support? I was fortunate enough to team up with the two brilliant scientists, software guru Jason Holmberg and NASA astrophysicist Zavin Arzormanian, to develop a user-friendly database where anyone, anywhere can upload their own images of whale sharks. We're talking about an animal considered to be rare, maybe a couple of hundred documented sightings in all of history. Jason Holmberg, who came up with the idea to turn the Hubble growth algorithms on the sharks, and who teamed up with Dr. Norman to create the database, told NASA. Now the library contains more than 76,000 sightings of 12,357 sharks, each one capable of growing up to 40 feet long and weighing 20 tons. These gentle, filter-feeding giants are somewhere between endangered and critically endangered on the IUCN Red List, and the database will go a long way towards ensuring that their feeding grounds and migration and breeding habitat can be found and preserved. The spots just behind the whale shark's fins are unique to each fish. So Norman and company can see where each one travels, breeds, and likes to stay. This is actually typical of biology. Animals like cheetah and leopards have totally unique coats of spots, and polar bears can be identified through just the arrangement of their whiskers. I didn't know that. As space and the ocean remain the final frontiers of scientific exploration, it seems only fitting that such a legendary space explorer as the Hubble telescope should be used to help plumb the depths of the sea, especially when it's looking for an animal which in the Malagasy language is known as Maro Quintana, which means many stars. And that is it for our good news. Well, we can always do one more, I guess. But yeah, plenty of time still. It's true. Plenty of time still. To me, Cast Talks is like meditation. I've talked about this during some of my meetings and some of my time at KWC. I have had many meditation moments, in which I have been able to effectively reach a zen and a focus and a calm association with myself. And there are moments in life that I pick out, not really knowing how I do it, but pick out and hold, like holding a child, and nurture and grow. And it's those moments that we have, that we nurture, that we make ourselves into the person that we always have been. I hope that makes sense. What I mean is, I do things and say things that make me feel more like myself and associate me more with the person I've always wanted to be, the person that I truly am. I can get a bit psychologizing being at a Cast Talk sometimes, but I always mean it in the best of ways. And one thing I'll do sometime soon, I don't know when, but sometime soon, I will show this lovely stream and this lovely time to other people on Second Life too. Though it can be difficult sometimes to truly understand where something fits and where to put it. Thank you, Playful. I will find some place to speak with people about and to share it with. I find that sometimes it's almost difficult for me to share it because I'm so worried about its quality. But I guess you would be worried about something that is so precious to you. You're worried about it being spoken poorly of or seen poorly. But they say if you love your kid, show them the world. I guess that's the same with this show. If I show it to people, then the world will see it. And I owe it that much. I could only imagine from here. And we've talked about what episode 500 and 100 will be like. But episode 20, just on its own, has been pretty great already. And we have time for just one more news story. And then we'll probably start to wind down for the evening. And then I'll either get straight to bed, mind you, or I'll take my little Epsom salt bath so I can help cool myself off. And then we'll be good to go, and we'll be good to see the rest of the week off. And won't that be nice? From Good News Network, March the 6th. Photo of a paralyzed man cleaning plastic from the India River goes viral, and he's showered with gifts to better his life. A passion for photography has always possessed this young engineer from Kerala, India. Now he knows there was a purpose. After a photo he took while walking around his village ended up changing a man's life and getting a shout out from India's Prime Minister. Carrying around a rented camera, searching for stories, Nandu Kays found nothing very interesting until one day he came to a bridge. I was always keen to capture images which had a story to tell, images which had life. I noticed a man rowing a boat and collecting something from the river, Nandu told GNN. The old man was N.S. Rayapan. He's been plucking plastic bottles from the river for years to earn a meager living, paralyzed since the age of 5 when he was struck with polio. His daily routine has kept the waterways of Venbanad Lake clear of plastic, all from the seat of his small boat. Without crutches, the 69-year-old would drag his legs a short way down the riverbank to the Minaki River, after which he was free to wander the waters in search of bottles. From the bridge that day, Nandu witnessed people throwing bottles into the river while underneath, a smiling Rajapan scooped them up. Filling his boat with plastic only earns him about Rs 17 cents. But it's enough for a meal, and it's satisfying to know he's helping the environment. Somebody should remove the waste from the water. I am doing what is possible for me, he told a local news outlet. Nandu uploaded his story and photos to his Pro Media Facebook. and people began retweeting it, including the UN Environment Program chief Eric Solheim, who suggested, let's make this guy famous. That's great. The Indian Prime Minister himself, Narendra Modi, then commented Rajappan's efforts during his monthly radio address. I have seen news from Kerala which reminds us of our responsibilities, he said, telling his listeners the story. Imagine how highly he thinks. We must also take inspiration from him and contribute towards cleanliness as far as possible. Afterward, the story went completely viral and inspired Indians to send gifts to the elder worker. He's been rewarded with a new motorboat, courtesy of a local businessman, and plans are in the works to build him a little home to replace the riverside shack that has been severely damaged in a storm. Best of all, a Bangalore-based company making wheelchairs has given him a heavy-duty motorized wheelchair, with support coming in from 1,000 of people, both financially and morally. I could see his life changing, Nadu said. I always wondered what it felt like to follow your passion, but never knew its true feeling until the day I met Rajappan, Chetan. Brother Rajappan, Nadu says. I went to him and showed him the photo I clicked. He smiled at me, and then I knew what it meant to be a photographer. The two have become good friends, and Nadu's family invited him to dinner to show him the TV news segment featuring his good works. It takes a photographer to be at the moment and make the picture happen for the world to know the story. Let's take a look at this video. Wow. Look at that. Look at him just enjoying himself. Wow. Yeah. He's famous now. He's a big famous guy. Oh, wow. That's fantastic. His entire life was changed by that. Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, if that's not a great ending to Cast Talks, I don't know what is. One photograph can really change a lot, though, I guess. But that's going to be it for us, I think. You know, Cast Talks always does make me start to fall asleep in my chair. But it's like a falling asleep from being so tired as opposed to falling asleep from being so relaxed. But it's a bit of both. It's a bit of both. It does take quite a bit of energy to do these, but I enjoy it. It's the music too. Yeah, it's the music too. It certainly is something, isn't it? I may model a future apartment after this if I can. Because this looks very, very nice. You know what? Maybe one day we'll see a Cast Talks with a real life cast in an actual place like this. Just chilling out and talking into some kind of crazy future microphone. Who knows? That would be cool. Wouldn't it? That would be cool. That's the future. It really is. And you know, the future can just start tomorrow. That's the craziest thing about it. It could start with a picture or a video or a stream. But that's going to be it for us. I want to thank Ginny, my friend, for being here. I want to thank you, Playful, for being here. And I want to thank everybody else who's lurking around, hanging out. And to everybody who's already asleep. Sorry if I woke you up. And to everybody who's feeling sleepy. I hope you get to sleep tight and get to sleep right. Good night to you, music. Good night to you, Playful. So glad you could have you. And to the rest of you, have a great night. Take care. And stay safe out there. And as always, see you next time. Bye-bye.